Okay.
What fun are you? Number 3?
Oh, wait, 2.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Golden Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob Flores, and this is another edition of the show. Yes, we are broadcasting live from California State University, Long Beach, and I'm joined here by my guest.
James Williams of the Southern California News Group.
Cool. So, you watched Wrestlemania, right?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, all 5, 6, 7 hours worth. There was a lot to take in, but as a wrestling fan, it's always a good time.
Cool.
How about you? Did you
No.
survive all?
I had so much homework and stuff that I was just reading along as they updated per match.
You're breaking my heart.
Oh man, I wish I could have seen. Even I didn't even get to catch the Hall of Fame, but
You missed
I
it.
read about it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's get right into it. You mentioned the Hall of Fame. I am upset. And
the Bret Hart thing?
yes, because of the Bret Hart thing. I
Yes,
think
yes.
I think I said on here last week, or it might have even been the week before, where I said that Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler. And then this man gets. I was upset. I was crushed. So for those who didn't watch, obviously, the WWE had their Hall of Fame ceremony. They do it every year before WrestleMania, and Bret Hart has been inducted into the Hall of Fame before as a solo performer. He was at his peak during the late 90s, or early and late 90s and some 80s, but he was on stage with his, Natalia's his niece?
Yeah.
Is his niece. So Bret Hart was tag team partners with Natalia, his niece's father, Jim Neidhart, who's actually from Orange County. We went over this before last week. Anyway, so Bret Hart's on the stage, and this fan, I guess he's a fan. I don't even want to call him a fan anymore, because what kind of fan does this? He runs onto the stage. The stage was set up like a wrestling ring, but one side of the ropes were open, so it was wide open, and there was a stairs that leads right up to the podium. And this fan runs up to the ring and literally football tackles Bret Hart to the ground and takes Natalia down with him. But I mean, it's just so stupid. Like, you have a arena full of wrestlers. I mean, I don't know.
I guess
This guy had to have been drunk.
So bad that he figured, hey, if I don't do a move, you ain't gonna want to go to do the match.
I mean, hey, if I'm Bret Hart, I'm saying, damn, I still have some heat. You know what I mean? Like, I still got some of that heel heat, if you got a fan attacking you like that. So, the one thing I did find interesting about it, and I should have looked it up, years ago, Bret Hart was on an episode of The Simpsons, and The Simpsons are known to be this cartoon that can predict the future, or, they've done it like with Super Bowl results, probably NBA Finals and stuff. So this fan who attacked Bret Hart was wearing a Jamaican hat. In this episode of The Simpsons, at least from the photo I saw on Twitter, Bret Hart was talking to a man in a Jamaican hat. So I'm curious to know. So I won't go as far as to say that The Simpsons predicted it, but whether this fan watched The Simpsons or something and got inspired to do it, I have to go back and watch the episode, because I know, at least on Twitter, I saw a guy in a Jamaican hat, like face to face with Bret Hart. So I am curious to know if this guy was inspired by that or not. Anyways, I'm rambling, but as you can tell, I'm a little upset about the whole situation.
Is it true? I could have sworn he said he never even saw the episode. He just did the voice clips.
You know what? I might have heard him say that. It was so long ago. I don't even think I saw it. The only reason why I remember it is because when I was a kid, I liked Bret Hart, so I would get the WWF at the time. It's now called WWE. I got the WWF magazine, and they had Bret Hart and Bart Simpson on the cover, like doing a little side by side. So I always remember that, and I think there was even like a Bret Hart action figure, like as a Simpson. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I always knew there was an affiliation there, but this adds another wrinkle, I guess, to it in a way. But yeah, so Bret Hart's niece, Natalia, her father died this past summer. So it was a emotional time for her, obviously an emotional time for Bret Hart. They're inducting Jim Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hart into the Hall of Fame, and then you have this fan kind of ruin that moment. So a lot of the wrestlers swarmed in. Obviously, Bret Hart is well respected in the industry. They came to his aid. They got the fan out, and let's just say, as the fan was being carried out, one of the wrestlers got the greatest shot in this guy's face. Just boom, hit him right in the face. I thought it was great. I saw it on Twitter, so that made me happy. But props to Bret Hart for continuing on with the speech like nothing happened. One thing I was curious about, I didn't go back and watch it last night, was if they played that part in the edited version on USA. Because I know they shorten it down, obviously, because the ceremony itself can go on for hours. But this in particular, I'm assuming was edited out. But speaking of things that were edited out and I thought was interesting, did you see Batista trip going into the ring?
No.
He got noodle leg, or like he got like noodle legs walking up the stairs. I don't know,
I remember years ago when I got to see Raw and I saw Goldberg trip.
Oh,
He was trying to get on the second
Titus.
rope to like look in the corner.
Oh god. Well, so first of all, the Wrestlemania stage is the entranceway or the ramp, the walking from the backstage in up to the ring is like, for WrestleMania, it's probably at least a mile long, or at least it feels that way. Honestly, like it might be half a mile. Anyway, so by the time he got done walking that, he was walking up the stairs and got all noodle leg, and he trips getting into the ring. So what he ends up doing, and I don't know if this was on purpose, but I thought it was great by him, and I don't know if this goes into his Guardian of the Galaxy improv, acting and whatnot, but he gets out the ring, I forgot, and then he's like, kind of going back and forth with Triple H's parents who were in the crowd and whatnot. And so what he does is he walks around the ring not once, but then he walks around it again, and he walks back up the stairs the same way, and obviously he doesn't trip. But I thought that was a great, whether it was, I don't know if anyone told him on the spot, but I thought it was great on him to where, I bet you when they show the network, they're not going to show the trip, and they're going to edit it out, and they're just going to show that second walk around where he's going back in. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting, and that was me just picking up on that. But there was a lot of great stuff, Rob. I'm kind of upset again that you missed it, especially for as much as we've been talking about it the last 2 weeks.
I was catching up on everything too. So we're finally current on Beyond the Ropes episodes.
Yes, you are.
Online.
I'll give you credit. You did have last week's episode up in time for WrestleMania.
I had to go all the way back in time from like last November.
You're opening up the time capsule, aren't you? So you're all the way caught up.
Yep.
So for fans of the show or potential fans of the show going forward, the full archive is now available. Is this what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. It's now today is 83.
Today. Now that's just for Beyond the Ropes.
Yes.
Is there
this one I don't number.
You don't number. You don't. But are they available? Because I know I've done at least
those
one or
ones
two
not.
of those.
Catch up for those.
All right. Well, if you could put mine at the front of that list, that'd be greatly appreciated. No, I'll be sure to share those out whenever they're available. But again, thank you for having me on here, Rob. So yeah, I mean, WrestleMania season's come and gone. Did you watch Raw at least?
No, I don't have cable.
You don't have cable?
No,
okay, well,
you know what I do
SmackDown
is
not.
When the semester starts, I get one of those cards, the 3-month card.
Oh, yeah. What, the network?
Yeah.
So, but, okay. I'm just upset that you don't watch WrestleMania. Anyway, so Lars Sullivan made his return. That was something we did talk about last week, or that Ethan brought up to me, that Lars hadn't been there. And I guess what did you guys say? He had a panic attack or whatever?
I was surprised by that.
Well, if that was the case, I mean, he looked pretty good, and he gave Kurt Angle a piece of his mind. Poor Kurt Angle with his no neck. He did the job again. So I heard Kurt Angle did sign a contract, so he'll probably be doing some behind the scenes stuff. So for as much as they're making it out like he's going away, he's not really going away. So
we'll be right back after this quick break.
We're just winging it.
affordable, professional, and located on the
Are you a
second
wrestling
floor of
fan?
the USU.
Are you a wrestling fan at all?
I've never gotten into it, so.
For an appointment, call 562-958.
I was gonna warn you ahead of time. I was like, God bless your soul.
That's 562-958.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I feel like I could have explained that a lot better, but I was like,
Well, I got what you're saying.
cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Long
Appreciate it.
Beach, looking to support local
No,
Chicano
so,
artists? Want to get
So yeah, I grew up on wrestling. Like, I'm a sports reporter and I do a lot of things with sports.
Say Long
But
Beach's Chicano
I think, like, I grew up on wrestling, so.
where
Cool.
nothing is off limits. Rock, rap, boleros.
Yeah, I never was exposed to it, so.
Okay, so this is
Every
great.
Wednesday at 4 p.m.
So you know who The Rock is?
Can't tune
Yeah.
in then? Just
The
like
guy that's
the
in every movie now?
Right. Okay, so do you know him as The Rock or as Dwayne Johnson?
I know him more as The Rock.
Okay, that's cool.
Or it's like it's a combination of both Dwayne The Rock.
Every day, across this
then-
country, hundreds of
So,
college
you
radio
know who Batista
stations
is?
take to the air. College
Or,
radio changes
what
the
is he?
lives
On
of
Guardian
those
of the
who are involved with
Galaxy,
it, and can change
Drax?
those who listen to it
Drax?
too.
I know
Radio
Drax.
means
I didn't
finding
know his name
yourself.
was
It helped me
Batista.
Yeah,
find
yeah,
what I
yeah.
do. I don't need school, but I'm
Yeah, so he started
support
in
college radio
wrestling.
by
So I was
continuing
like
to listen
asking,
to
I
this
was just
station
curious to
and
know,
supporting
like, do
students
people
who make
know
it happen.
wrestling?
College
Or-
radio.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was a
More
wrestler.
than
Okay,
ever.
okay,
A message
cool,
brought to
cool,
you
cool.
by this station and the College Radio Foundation. For more information, please visit collegeradio.org.
And we're back. Okay, so where were we?
I was getting upset at you for not watching WrestleMania. But yeah, as we were kind of talking about during the break there, I guess Batista is coming out with a new movie. I had no idea what it was for, but I was like, touche, Batista. So, you know, obviously he had the match with Triple H. He was on WrestleMania. So, of course, I guess right before the match, they're going to do a preview for his new movie. So I was like, it makes perfect sense. But
Wow.
did you hear after WrestleMania that Batista retired? Did you hear about that?
Okay, this is what's so confusing. When he did the whole setup for the match, he goes, if Triple H is, it's a retirement. They didn't do it with
That's
whole
right.
stipulation where Batista's the one that retires. That's not a proper way to go ahead and write out a character forever.
I mean, again, it's the WWE. You know he will be back. That's the same thing. If Triple H would have lost and his career was over,
Yeah, he would have been back.
he's
for the
going to be
Saudi
back
money.
in... Yes, exactly. He would have been back in a year, if not 6 months.
I mean, the Saudi one, I think, is like in a month or two, no?
That's what Ethan was saying. I don't know. I don't know for sure on that one. So, but the one thing I did take away that was interesting from the Batista announcement was he announced it on Twitter. This was like at 11 o'clock, I think. Or at least that's when I saw it. It might have been an hour before that, but it was like after the show was over. So whether he had time to think about it, maybe he had it planned out in advance. I don't know. I'm trying to think if he had like an actual formal like image that had some sweet message on it or something. But
I just barely read this a few minutes ago, too, that WWE had to apologize because traffic was a mess. And that they had booked the
WWE
venue.
apologized for that.
Originally, I guess the event thought, or the venue thought that it was booked till 10, and it turns out they had to keep the venue till like midnight.
Nah, that's BS. I mean, first of all, when you see how big the stage is and whatnot, they're not just hanging out for 2 hours. Like, it's production. First of all, WrestleMania, this was the 35th one. If they don't have a hint by now, that's on them. And I think I know MetLife Stadium, where WrestleMania was held, is new.
Because
but
they
I
were
feel
mentioning
like- I feel
transit, so I'm guessing they're talking about buses and stuff.
I'll get to that in a minute. But I think the stadium is new. But I'm pretty sure WrestleMania had been there before. So they shouldn't have, either way, it shouldn't have been a surprise. But yeah, so fans were on Twitter that were at WrestleMania going on. And again, I don't blame them because I would have been hot about it too. Saying they waited. So the show ended at like 9:30 Pacific time. So let's say you're walking out of the stadium after WrestleMania in Brooklyn at midnight, which I wouldn't be walking down the street of Brooklyn at midnight either. Anyways, just to begin with, that I don't know. I've never been to Brooklyn, but I'm not walking down the street anywhere at midnight. So obviously there's a lot of the ways of transportation are usually a taxi, a train, etc., etc. I guess all the trains were stopped at their normal time, which may have been at like 10 or something like that. So I saw one video where these fans were sitting in this empty like train station, and well, I think they said the train was there because they showed that they were like they were standing at the tracks, and they said, "Here's the train," and then at the like literally from that wall over there where it says the Beach Pride program to that wall over there. There was a train over there and some homeless person laying in the tracks. So hopefully I think they said they flagged him down on time to not hit the guy on the track.
God.
But yeah. But so what I did again.
I think he was cosplaying as Batista passed out.
Yeah. No, but so that was one situation, and they were saying, I guess the tweet in that video also said they were there like 2 hours waiting. There were people who were trying to call for Ubers and Lyfts, and they were getting the request through, but then they kept getting canceled, and they were like waiting outside of the stadium for like till 3 a.m. just trying to get some sort of transportation. So yeah, I mean, again, you need to have I don't know how I feel about WWE apologizing, because I don't know if I would have apologized. That's on the city, to be honest. I mean, you're hosting an event. That's like, it's pretty much like hosting the Super Bowl. If you don't know to run the trains a little bit later, to run, to have an Uber line or something set up, it's just like a concert.
I heard 2021, LA is a candidate for WrestleMania.
I'm pretty sure that's official, and I'm already trying to put myself in a position where I can go as media.
They sell out
That'd be great.
within minutes, like less than 10 minutes usually.
If my editors are listening, I'm putting in an early bid for media credentials, if at all possible. If that's not possible, then you didn't hear this. Anyways, just throwing it out there. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, WrestleMania is just, there's so much media and everything that goes with it. And just the grind, just for the wrestlers, the performers, the people in the back, there's so much content they're usually doing anyways for the network. There was so much media. There's Media Row that's a whole day dedicated just to that kind of stuff. Those guys had to be tired. And then they're jumping on Raw the next day, and then they're going to have to be on SmackDown again. You got to give them credit, Rob.
Wow.
We got it pretty easy compared to that lifestyle. And I don't even know where they're going next, but they got to put on a happy face and go on out there. So
And just like I said, Ray would have a super short match.
Ray's hurt.
As always.
I feel bad. Ray's
Wow.
what, 50? He's not 50, but he might be 50. Anyways, I'll give him credit. I would have loved to have seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, because it's like, I saw like a bunch of the pictures, like the behind the scenes of WrestleMania, and I saw like Batista was wearing this Rey Mysterio shirt, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute, because because Batista and Rey are like best friends, and they were like tag team partners back in the day, and all that stuff, and they Bret Hart tweeted or whatever you call an Instagram post. Posted on Instagram a picture of him and The Undertaker, which was like my childhood. That's like 93, 94.
I'm very confused because...
What are you confused about, Rob? I'm here to help you. At least try to help you. No promise.
Sting said he's willing to come out of retirement for Undertaker match. How do you say, I'm willing to come out of retirement when, like, a year ago, you're like, oh, I had a career-ending injury. I can't anymore.
They said the same thing about Shawn Michaels, right? And he can't. He took like 4 or 5. Yeah, it might have been 3 or 4 years, but you can work around anything. That's the beauty of wrestling. Robert, we've seen people with no legs have a whole match.
Oh yeah, Zach Gowen,
and he's still going.
Wow.
So anything's possible in the World Wrestling Federation. Well, World Wrestling Entertainment.
Be careful now. A panda might come
I
out with a chair.
I know. They can sue me, but I don't got much money, so. Actually, no, don't sue me.
What was it? Wildlife what? What did that thing stand for?
The World Wildlife Federation.
Oh, yeah, some pandas. I think it was Phil that posted that photo. There's some pandas with steel chairs.
There's like so many battles in court that Vince McMahon and the WWE have won, and they somehow lost to the World Wildlife Foundation. I'd be curious. I don't know which one was around first, but anyways. So yeah. You didn't watch it. I have so much to talk about.
So much work and stuff.
It was a good time. Did you see a clip of the Charlotte spot where she came in on the helicopter?
No.
Kind of like her dad did from like back in the 80s. That was kind of random. It was cool, but it was kind of random at the same time, because they showed her flying in on a helicopter, then it lands, and then she gets out. But then they have Ronda come out first, and then Charlotte. So that was kind of weird. But did you get a chance to at least watch the main event?
No, I
not
haven't
in
seen
person, but
anything.
you haven't gone back and watched it at all.
No, I haven't.
Well, you're in
But
for
the
some
outcome
spoilers
at
today,
least was
sir.
exactly how I said.
Is that
we
what you
both
mean?
said Becky, right?
I said Becky. I mean, it's like she said. She was the only one to walk in with nothing but leave with everything.
I know.
So
Ethan thought it was gonna be what, Charlotte?
No, I knew. I mean, he might have, but I knew it was gonna be anyone but Charlotte. That's just me. What else was I gonna tell you?
Obviously, this
yeah.
week's gonna have to be shocker
Our
episodes.
R-Truth was there. He didn't wrestle, and he was not in the women's battle royal.
No, but like Ethan said, by representation, by association, there would be a victory.
Oh, because Carmella won. That was so BS. Who was in the middle of the ring? Oh, Sarah Logan. I don't know too much about Sarah Logan, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. That would have been someone great to have win it. And Carmella, that's kind of like boring and predictable. What are they going to do with that?
Probably
I wonder-
bragging with the trophy.
Well, actually, it was kind of dumb because, again, she came out, they did that little dance break that they do, I guess, and she didn't even bring the trophy out for that. So that was already a missed opportunity. But on top of that, it's kind of like, does she get paid twice?
Why?
Because she came out, well, she won the Battle Royal during the pre-show, and then she came back out, and she did that dance break thing.
Oh, no,
That-
sure.
whatever. So I don't know if she gets paid twice
She'll
for that.
probably have a celebration thing, like,
Oh,
with
like,
R-Truth, like on SmackDown.
oh my God, Kofi Kingston won.
Oh, yeah.
We forgot to talk about this. As an African American, I am very proud of Kofi Kingston. We have very few African Americans, The Rock being one of the African Americans to win the WWE Championship. So it was a big deal in the Williams household. So, any comments, Bob?
Wow, I heard there's a new T-shirt exactly when he won.
There was a new T-shirt, and then they try and hit you with this WWE shop, buy one get one. So I'm all there, I'm ready. You know, this other guy on Twitter was like, I'll go half and half with you on the buy one get one for the Kofi shirt. Sounds great. I'm logging in, my phone's dead, so I'm already, like, it's dying, so I'm already in a rush trying to do it. And I already knew it was either already sold out or they announced it and they weren't really selling it yet, but it didn't apply for the buy one get one, so. But I'll get one. It was nice. It was like a blue shirt like that. But yeah, so they had it in the box, which again kind of made it predictable. And then they had the title. They had Daniel Bryan's belt, and then under a cloth or whatever they had the original, or the whatever the normal looking WWE title looks
There
like
should be
now.
a New Day belt.
But then they had there should be a New Day belt, and then they already had Kofi's like side plates on there, so it was kind of like already all like, yes, wrestling scripted and they have it all planned out in advance, yada yada. But it's kind of like, we know, but don't have it like, don't have the shirts made, don't have the. I mean, they do that for the Super Bowl too, but I don't know. Anyways, I thought it was cool. Kofi Kingston won. Seth Rollins won too. It's like it was
that one.
no? You didn't like it, huh? You weren't about it?
It should have been Brock still, just so that somebody else gets Brock.
Who? Name okay,
A returning person.
realistic.
Or a
Let's be
debuting
realistic for a second. If there was someone standing in Brock Lesnar's face, let's say Brock Lesnar's walking down the street.
Mhm.
Name 4 people on the roster that actually look like they can take Brock Lesnar in a fight on the street.
Bobby Lashley. Just Bobby
Does
alone.
he look like it? Sure. Do I think he could? Probably not. It'd be close, maybe. I don't know. That'd be a close one. Braun Strowman would be another one, right? Seth Rollins, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't realistic, but I mean, you already tried with Braun Strowman, and that, they obviously didn't go there. So who else were they going to go with? Don't say Bobby Lashley, because we know that wasn't going to happen.
I mean, it's eventual, and everybody's been wanting Bobby Lashley versus Lesnar.
Well, Bobby Lashley wants Lesnar and Bobby. I mean, I do too, but
Yeah.
does Brock?
And it would be great if it was like in a cage or something. Like a whole.
Yeah, right. And then you have these 2 muscle heads trying to climb a cage.
I mean,
That's the last
legit
thing we
MMA
need.
background. Legit.
Well, okay, I can see that. Well, so the minute, Alexa Bliss was out there with Hogan for the first segment of the show, and Paul Heyman comes storming through and demands the match is the first match on the card. And I knew right then and there Brock Lesnar was going to lose because I was telling Christian and your brother actually out there before the show that the minute I saw Paul Heyman come out there and they say they want to have the match now, I knew Brock Lesnar was going to lose because he didn't want to wait there for 5 hours, and he knew if he was going to lose, he just wanted to lose and go home. So with that said, it was like kind of obvious. That was already predictable. But the other thing I want to mention too with Brock Lesnar is when he loses, they're always in these like quick, less than 5 minute matches. But when he wins, I mean, it's like 7 minutes. But I'm noticing Brock Lesnar is a little bit of a sore loser. I mean, I don't think that's news to anybody. But
I
it's
mean,
kind
you
of a
know
little
who took a shot at
disappointing.
him?
I mean, I'm sure everyone who took a shot at him.
The guy that he's supposedly supposed to go at the UFC.
Oh, Daniel Cormier. Yes, he did. He said, what did he say?
He's like, haha, Brock got beat up.
No, well, he might have. I
On
wouldn't
a
be
tweet.
surprised. There was another one that said, I think it said like, so it begins, like kind of leading into like, okay, so now it's gonna happen because there was like this.
I can't believe the shot he took at him before, though, when he was still champion.
Who?
He's like, you know what? I'd like Brock to bring the belt to the octagon.
Right.
I don't mind being WWE champion.
I mean, put them both on the line, do a
Wow.
winners take all there, right? No, but so I did think it was interesting that after the next night, Seth Rollins came out on Raw and he said, "Oh, I heard Brock Lesnar and Heyman flew to Vegas, which is usually where those big boxing or MMA fights happen. So maybe he really did fly to Vegas, and maybe he really is setting up the next UFC fight."
It's funny. It's just so funny. Because there's other rumors that AEW will just give him a big contract.
Who, Brock Lesnar? I mean, they don't have that kind of money, and Brock Lesnar's not going to do that.
Well, I mean,
I doubt it. I mean, if the money's right. You know what was good, though? Is because for all that, The Undertaker was going to be on the... Is it the All-In, whatever, like the signing... Like, he was going to be there for the autograph signings, and everyone thought the relationship with WWE had kind of ended.
Mhm.
Undertaker was on Raw last night, so they're obviously in good terms. He was backstage for WrestleMania, so the relationship is still good.
Any
there.
shockers happen on Raw?
On Raw, see, I gotta give you the spoilers for Raw too. No, the Lars Sullivan thing.
Uh-huh.
He came out and kind of spoiled Kurt Angle's fun. I don't know if you or Ethan, someone was saying the Undertaker should come out for Elias. Or I think people on Twitter were saying that. But it was this thing where it was like, I think someone on YouTube was saying, if Elias is out there, then Cena's gonna come out, which Cena did. He came back as Thugonomics Cena.
What?
You didn't hear this?
Well, okay, but it's confusing. Why would he do that? Is it just like a one-time thing?
I think it might have been a one-time thing. I think he talked about it on the network after, but I didn't really watch it.
Okay, because that should have had a whole different potential. You could have done that storyline-wise and had a Matt Hardy thing going on to explain why Cena reverted back to that.
I think it was just a one-time thing. It was kind of weird how that happened because Elias was out there doing his gimmick. He was just, singing or dancing and whatnot. Not dancing, but playing the guitar or whatever. And then Cena, like this long Babe Ruth, like they show like the Babe Ruth pointing the home run thing. And it took like 2 minutes. Like it was 2 minutes long. And then it like teased to John Cena. And the only thing, John Cena was wearing this Brooklyn, I think it was a Brooklyn jersey, but I think it might have been a New York Yankees jersey, but it didn't make any sense because they were in Brooklyn. He could have worn Brooklyn Dodgers. Anyways, so he just came out and he did a rap, like, John Cena, that's what he does, the Thugonomic John Cena, but, I mean, it's pretty good. It was a good rap. It wasn't like any of his raps back in the day, but it was still pretty good. And then everyone was expecting the Undertaker to come out because Undertaker and John Cena had their little angle at last year's WrestleMania. Didn't happen. So Elias was back out there saying, John Cena interrupted me. The next person who comes out is going to be a dead man. And like 2 seconds later, you hear the gong and the Undertaker comes out. And so he, he gets the best of Elias, and that was that. So Undertaker came out. Lars was there. Sami Zayn came back. And, they played him up as a babyface. He challenged someone in the back. and Finn Balor came out, and they put the IC title on the line, and everyone's like, oh my god, Finn Balor's about to lose the title. He ended up winning, and then Sami Zayn turned heel. And he called everyone ugly, which wasn't... It's kind of like, really? That's your go-to when you come back after like 6 months and you have surgery on both shoulders? Is like, the crowd is ugly, really? So I wasn't really buying Sami Zayn all that much, but it is what it is. So those are probably the returns, I guess you can say. Can't think of any other reals. No, I think that was it. Oh, Dean Ambrose had his last match last night. Actually, it wasn't even a match. It was like teased and it came out like it was his last match. It was against Bobby Lashley. And then I guess because Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush were so mad that they lost to Finn the night before WrestleMania, they pretty much just attacked Ambrose. And so that was it. So Ambrose pretty much went out like Kurt Angle did with an L, an unofficial L, because it was an official match, but that was the end of Dean Ambrose. I guess too, supposedly at the end of Raw, because Rollins was supposed to go one-on-one with Kofi Kingston, and that got turned into a tag team match because the bar came out. And I guess at the end of the show, since Rollins was already out there, Roman and Ambrose came back out, and they did the little shield fist thing. And that was the end. So, I don't know where Ambrose is going, but it sounds like it's not with WWE anymore. Which I don't believe.
AEW.
I mean, I guess, but part of me is just like, your wife works there. I mean, you don't have to work there because your wife works there, but your wife has a prominent role.
I mean, considering the talk, there was an article that claimed that since Fox, they're going to do, the whole contract thing's going on.
Right.
They want the network wants a few changes. One of them is supposedly go from 3 people commentator team back to 2. And that most likely that would mean Renee loses her spot.
Even then, I don't think she'd be done. But I mean, there's enough shows to where they'll put her on one. But I think too, they're supposed to be doing a studio show or something. I think I heard it wasn't supposed to be really. It was about WWE, but I don't think it was affiliated with WWE. But it was like a studio show. It's almost like a pre-show for SmackDown or something. So I could see Renee being on that.
She's already done things like that.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It would be a step back in a way, but I mean, again, it is on Fox, and more people are going to be seeing it and whatnot.
If her contract's about the same as Dean's, or almost going to expire around the same time.
I don't think they would have put as much stock and effort into her. And there was the whole thing where she was the first woman broadcaster, I think, ever and whatnot. I don't think they would have made all that effort if they knew her contract was coming down or they had some agreement. I wouldn't be surprised if it's hasn't already been announced or there's some long-term agreement. I think Renee's there to stay, which made it all that more surprising, and I was surprised they've actually gone all the way through with Dean Ambrose leaving. So, I don't know. It'd be a big name for AEW, that's for sure. What they'll do, I don't know. I know they have Jim Ross on AEW as a commentator. I don't know. I don't know too much about them. Oh, your boy Enzo and Cass interfered on
G1?
The G1. I don't know much about the show. I know Jay Lethal was on it. I don't know if he won. I hope he did. But yeah, I heard they went through the crowd and Bubba Ray was there and he slaughtered Enzo. So I don't know if that was a shoot or not. I don't know if that was real, or if it was scripted or not. But yeah, so they came through the crowd at first because it was right after because the G1 was the same night. G1 is another wrestling company. They had a show called G1. What was that? New Japan and Ring of Honor, and they ran Madison Square Garden. They ran their show at Madison Square Garden the same night as the WWE Hall of Fame. And so right after Bret Hart kind of was tackled, I saw tweets later on that, Enzo and Cass were in the crowd. So I thought it was Enzo and Cass were in the crowd for WWE's Hall of Fame. And I thought they were even trying to say that Enzo was the one in the Jamaican hat that tackled Bret Hart. So I was like, oh my God, Enzo's going to be banned for life. So yeah, but they ended up being at the G1 thing, which is, I don't know how far away from Brooklyn and Madison Square Garden can be that far apart, but just down the street. So Enzo and and Cass, I guess, are back together. I'm assuming they're going to end up doing an angle. They're going to be with Ring of Honor, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But do you like Enzo and Cass? I know you've talked about him a few times when we were on.
I'm not really too sure about him, but Enzo, it's very interesting just because he can get heat.
That's true.
When you want to have a heel, just to go ahead and invest in a baby face,
Mhm.
if you put him against somebody that can easily get a lot of heat.
It's pretty disappointing because I remember cheering for them. Like, my dad watches wrestling. He didn't really watch it when I was younger, but now that he's retired, he kind of has his weekly shows, and wrestling is part of his routine now. And so he used to get excited for Enzo and Cass. Like, you know, they had the same little intro, kind of like the New Age Outlaws. They had their same little intro and their spiel. My dad would get all excited for this stuff. So it's kind of sad how far off Enzo and Cass have fallen. Just based on some of the things that Cass has said, or like how he kind of ended on bad terms with WWE in a way. Kind of didn't really leave him in any good favor with me. I mean, I don't know him. I've never had any interaction with him, but I don't know. They just sounded like
He didn't get to have that much of a run. Big
I mean,
Cass.
but he had opportunities.
Yeah.
But see, and that's the thing where you have opportunities, but if you allow the way you handle things backstage, like, you know, you can be great in the ring, but if you're a pain in the butt backstage, you're not doing yourself any favors, and that seemed to be the case. I know he had a relationship with Carmella. I would say many people didn't think out of the three, Carmella would be the last one standing in WWE, but there she is.
Well, with her, I think it's a little different because I think her father was part of the industry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I actually found out she was a Laker girl. She used to be like a cheerleader, more or less, for the Lakers. I didn't know that. But yeah, so she was with, I guess her and Cass had a relationship at some point. And I guess after they broke up, they were still obviously working in the same company. And I think that was part of how Cass left, was there might have been a situation there with Carmella that, you know, kind of didn't help Cass out very much. Well, it might have been Cass's fault, but I don't know. Whatever the situation was there. Didn't work out for Cass, and he is no longer with WWE. But we'll see. I think those guys, I don't know about Enzo, but I think Cass is young enough that he can probably mature a little bit from it, learn a new hold out in a different industry, and come back and kind of make another splash again. I think he'll get another opportunity. Enzo, you never say never in the WWE, so I wouldn't rule it out either, but it probably would be as a manager or something. I don't know. It won't be in the next year or two, that's for sure. So we'll see
We'll
where
get
that
back to
goes.
that right now after this quick break.
Tired of the same old thing? At Subway, you could try a different sub sandwich every day with the Subway Sub of the Day meal.
I'm drinking water. I don't
Visit
care
Subway in
what
the
the rules are.
USU today.
I'm getting dry mouth.
Did you know that more than 20% of students on Cal State campuses experience food insecurity while in college? Cal State Long Beach is doing something to help that with the Beach Pantry, which is located on the third floor of the Student Union in room 302 and is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and again from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Stop by for some food, snacks, and school supplies.
Yeah.
I need by the end of the show, I'm like, doo-doo-doo. And then I'm like, we're done.
You're trying to listen to the radio right now? Yeah.
This is gonna be your strongest 20 minutes.
All right.
No.
We'll see. We'll see.
Bro, what
I mean,
else
we're doing
is
another
going on?
hour after.
Wait, whoa.
About more.
What was that?
This is like his feature show where he like profiles people, and then his second show is actually like a wrestling show. And there's another guest.
As we explore and celebrate
So
genres and movements.
usually by the second show, I'm actually a little bit more into it, but
Can I sit in on that one as well? Or?
I mean, well,
Interesting
yeah,
stories
sure.
and passion
I don't
review.
know. That's gross.
Tune in to Behind the Narrative, Mondays at 5 p.m. We'll be breaking apart everything from music videos to advertisements
How many
to
hours do you have to do?
surreal
Is it
art
like
on
8?
YouTube in order to understand the meaning behind the content we consume. What elements best convey the message? Why do audiences react the way they do? How is the message conceptualized?
Right.
We'll be asking these questions along with many more to get Behind the Narrative. Mondays at 5 p.m. at 22westmedia.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Golden Spotlight, broadcasting live from California State University in Long Beach. And you were mentioning Enzo.
Yes, Enzo.
Oh,
Poor Enzo. Not poor Enzo, but Poor me, I guess. I used to like Enzo. I'm glad I didn't buy a shirt.
Which one? The NZO?
With the leopard print or whatever it was. It was like a light.
He's got a new one though that's like NWO style.
Oh really?
And it's interesting because
what is it, on Pro Wrestling Tees or something?
Apparently he is copyrighted it now, so that he can
What,
finally
Enzo?
go. He wants to stop going by Real One and go to Enzo, but without the E.
The Real One thing is stupid. Wait, he wants to go to Enzo without the E.
Yeah, he thinks
that's not Enzo anymore. That's
like Warrior changing his name to Warrior.
No. That's still Enzo.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like.
Way to go ahead and think of a loophole.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I thought the Real One thing was kind of stupid. No, I mean, it's good, like a tagline or call yourself a real, but like, as your name, like, as I see, like, that's his Twitter name too, is like Real, and then I think the number 1, and I'm like, it's kind of lame. But I'm not a big fan of Twitters with numbers in it. I used to have numbers in mine, I changed it. I don't know. It just looks messy. But, I mean, Enzo's kind of a mess at this point.
So. I mean, there's even talk about how, like, they asked him, like, why does Simon Gotch doesn't like him?
Yeah, they got heat. That's right. And neither one of them's with the company, so they both neither one of them did themselves any favors.
Oh,
did you watch the YouTube video? Because I keep getting teased, like, as this is a video you should watch. And it's the Simon Gotch one where he talks about
it just mentions how, like, Simon, like, didn't like him from the start or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Enzo just felt that he was, like, the shortest end, like the weakest link or whatever.
Yeah. Who? Enzo was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Enzo was like walking on eggshells pretty much. He felt he was gonna be gone, and Triple H like gave him the impression that he was gonna get the boot. But like then he'd get comments like, oh, like one day Cena went to NXT and Cena says like, oh, I've been watching you and I'm like, I like your stuff. Like and that they were like, oh, to get more people in the crowd, they were gonna do NXT tapings to where the last show, the dark match, would include like a big top star that's already in the main roster.
Gotcha.
So Cena showed up that day, and Cena's like, I want you to come with me, and I want you to do a promo on.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, what's his name? Damien Sandow. To do a promo on him, and it was interesting because he was talking about promo classes. And that when him and Simon first started, he did a promo, and he cut one on Simon Gotch because Simon was like a little better apparently, like in the ring wise.
Yeah.
So when he decided to cut a promo and talk smack about his attire, saying that he's got one like boob out, like
because he wears the singlet.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the singlet. I couldn't wear
so
the
he
Andre the Giant singlet.
Did a joke that made everybody laugh. And so Simon got like really frustrated that like as much as Gotch is good in the ring, mic wise, no.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard Simon Gotch talk on the mic. I used to like his entrance too. What were they called? Him and
the Silent Era or whatever.
No. They were the not the puppeteers.
The Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
There you go. I thought that was great. The whole entrance, but Gotch is his father is a famous. I think he might even be in the Hall of Fame. But there's like Simon Gotch is like second generation, which is why I'm kind of surprised that he's not. Is
that why he's stuck with that whole Pringles mustache thing?
I don't think that's why, but I mean, I'm sure there's probably some inspiration there. But I mean, again, it was a different gimmick. I thought it worked.
I like the funny segment where New Day did the whole time machine.
I don't know if I saw that one.
It was when Kofi came out of this cardboard box and he came back with the Jamaican accent and stuff.
Oh, was that for the 20 whatever anniversary of Raw?
Yeah,
it was. I think I do remember that. I mean, but again, Kofi Kingston has come a long way. I do remember that, and then he had like the accent, and then he like dropped the accent. I think didn't Randy Orton like call him out on his thing? Like, what happened to your accent? But yeah. So what's up with Kevin Owens? Where's he at? So when Sami Zayn came out, I thought they were gonna spark that feud back up, but I don't know. I don't know where Kevin Owens has been. I don't think he was in the Battle Royal. I know he had just come back, right? But I don't know if he's hurt again or.
I'm wondering what's going to happen with Anderson and Gallows.
What's up with that? Oh, because they lost to Ryder and Hawkins. Mm-hmm. Well, they had a match again last night. They had a rematch, and so everyone thought, whoop, this is it. The Revival's going to win the titles again, and they actually lost again. So Hawkins has a bit of a winning streak going on now. That's 2 wins in a row after losing 167 or something matches. So who knows? I mean, they'll probably lose it next week. I think they just maybe were shaking it up so it's not as predictable to have them lose the next night. I don't think this is going to be a long title run, and I think the Revival is still the kind of go-to of like what they expect from the tag team division going forward. So I can totally see the Revival winning it back soon, which actually makes me think, like, you know what would be a good match? I don't know if this happened yet. The Usos and the Revival. That'd be kind of a good match, I would think. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know too much about the Revival. I didn't really see much of them that much.
There's not really much to them. They're just like, they're pretty much like old school dudes. Like, they're kind of like Tully and Arn Anderson from back in the day. And that's kind of like their whole gimmick. And that goes back to because Dash Wilder was the one who punched that fan who attacked Bret Hart. Like, that's just old school moves. It's like old school mentality of like, if you're gonna jump to the ring or you're gonna interrupt the show, like, you're kind of when you're crossing that barrier and you're going into the ring or into the world of the wrestlers, and you know they can feel threatened. I don't think any fan is really threatening to a wrestler, but then again, you don't know if they have a knife or whatever. So the wrestlers will attack, and that's what Wilder did. And so, you know, that was that old school mentality of not just like, let's just carry him out and let security do it. Wilder's just like, boom, punched him right in the face. That was great. Christian was telling me he saw the mugshot on some news. They may have had the video or something. The guy had like 2 black eyes. His face might have been like all swollen. I have to go back and watch.
Wow.
I wonder if he kept the Jamaican hat on for that picture. That would have been great. So yeah. So don't jump the barrier or cross the rope. You'll end up with a swollen face. If there's one thing you learned this week, Rob. Rob, you need to go back. You need to go back and watch this show. No, to be honest with you, I don't know if I can go back and watch all of WrestleMania again. It's just so long. The show was like 7 hours long. There was actually some people on YouTube who were live streaming it, like doing commentary for the whole show. I'm like, that's a long time. 7 hours, like, I don't know. Like, you need a bathroom break in there or something. 7 hours is a long time. But some people can do it. Those YouTubers, they gotta get paid. So, when are we gonna see you on a live stream for a YouTube?
I'm so busy with classes still. I got a group presentation coming up, 15-pager. Taking 2 exams. Jeez. Got a lot coming up still.
You're almost done, Rob. You've been over this before. What do you got? 5 weeks?
Oh, man. I even asked one of my teachers,
and then your life changed forever.
I go, I need to know my grade, because, like, one of the classes, she doesn't, like, keep it updated, the beach board thing.
You better not fail, Rob.
That's why I'm like, I want to make sure I'm passing. I gotta, like, get that BA already.
I know, right? I was thinking about it. I mean, like, I've kind of been in college for 10 years. In a weird, I guess. 9, I guess. I graduated in 2009. So, either way, it's not good. Been here too long, Rob. But we'll get through it. I have a job, so that's my excuse. But I just promised my parents I'd get the degree. I didn't tell them I'd get it in 4 years or whatever. So they're proud of me. They tell me. So that's that. Anyways, Rob, what do you have planned for the rest of this week?
More homework still?
Ooh, okay, actually, let's talk about this 15-page paper for a second.
Okay.
Have you started it?
Some of it.
Wait, when is it due?
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be me too. I'd be the same situation. I'd be like, when is it?
But
2 days.
It has to do with, like, I gotta look at the stuff, but it's about my life, technically, family life, but it's using studies of, like, how you handle things.
So the sourcing and all this stuff, I'd be using multiple sources and double space, and I don't know, there's, like, YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you can find, like, different. I'm not advocating here for trying to extend 15 pages, but there's things where you can, like, you make everything 12 font and then you make all the periods and stuff like 14 font, it's extra effort. But if you do that, I heard it like makes a difference. But it's like that's a lot of extra work. I'd just rather just keep typing. But there's ways you can get around it. Anyways, that's it. What do you think about? You didn't watch NXT either, huh?
No, I didn't. But
Velveteen Dream won. He beat Matt Riddle.
You know, Velveteen Dream. The great thing about him also is whenever there's a special event, his attire special. What was it like?
Oh, what was he again? What was he? Did he do a Rick Rude? No, he didn't. No, not Rick Rude. I think he did do the hip shake. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what his attire looked like, but he came out like the Macho King on the where they're like holding him up, and he's like on this thing, and he's like waving, and he had the crown because it was kind of like I don't know if that was the theme for the show or not. But anyways, yeah, he did. That was the gimmick he played off of was the Macho King gimmick. So I thought that was kind of cool. Matt Riddle, who's an MMA guy, wrestles barefoot, and I thought that was ridiculous because one, you can get athlete's foot.
Yeah, I mean they made Rusev finally like stop
and put some shoes on. I'm just like, that's like a toenail or something.
Yeah, I mean they're exaggerating just because he has an MMA background. I think just do that.
I mean, he didn't have tape on his feet or anything. I don't know. That's crazy. But
very few people. I think Ernest the Cat Miller was the only other one who did that.
But I think even he had tape on his feet.
Yeah.
No, I mean Yokozuna did it back in the day. There was a story about him where when he did they were fighting on the military ship, I think, and it was against Luger, and Luger came out and he took his sandals. Yokozuna had taken off his sandals, and I think kicked him to the side, and he was like, it was like 100 degrees outside or something, and so the wrestling ring was like super hot, and he was like sitting there barefooted, like just standing there barefooted, and he was like hopping around. This guy's like 500 pounds, but he was like, his feet were burning, but I don't know. You think he'd be used to it. I would think he'd walk around a lot barefooted, so you would think his feet are rough enough to handle that, but I don't know. I don't walk around barefooted really, so I wouldn't know.
I heard, oh my gosh, I can't believe they actually took a shot at AEW.
Oh, what, during the DX?
Yeah.
I forgot they got inducted too. That was a great speech. But yeah, they did, because I guess Billy Gunn?
He got fired for steroids.
Is that what, and then so he said he can't get fired again, and they said we wouldn't, what was it? I forgot what Triple H said.
He told him, don't worry, Vince will just buy that Pissant company and fire you then.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And then he said something about All In after that, and they kind of played up on it, which kind of was like,
wow,
kind of surprising in a way. But I think, okay. Well, because I was thinking he was talking about Ring of Honor for a minute, but
I mean,
talking
they
about
got
Cody.
more money than TNA, right?
Well, I think the minute they start, I think they'll be better than TNA. But I think, I mean, either way, I'm sure Cody and all them were probably all for it. I think when they understand the joke behind it, just like, taking it for what it is. But that's free advertising too, especially on the biggest wrestling show.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to be like, what are they talking about? They're going to be, what is he talking about? Or where is Billy Gunn working now? And so, if anything, that's good. That's good for them, for AEW. But I would be curious what is Billy Gunn's role? Is he supposed to be wrestling, or is he probably just like, a backstage?
I think
Booker, not
head
Booker,
of talent or something like that.
Oh,
but
okay.
They changed the name.
Yeah. But he's not wrestling though. He's not wrestling.
He probably could, but not.
I mean, I think he would.
Not as many.
Right. Yeah, that's I don't know if that's more wrestling you gotta pay for though. I don't know if I'd watch it. I'll watch it, but I ain't gonna pay for it. Not AEW. But I wish them best of luck. I think they're already off to a better start than TNA, and they haven't had a match. Someone got fired from TNA recently too.
Eli Drake.
Yeah. What did he did?
He refused to wrestle Tessa.
Oh, Tessa Blanchard?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I heard it was like something like that, but they were supposed to be. Because I saw one of the other female wrestlers or women's wrestlers from TNA. She mentioned something about it where I think backstage Eli Drake is saying, "Oh, I forgot what he said," but it made it out like, "Oh, behind the scenes he was saying, oh, it doesn't matter who you're in the ring with or whatever," and then that's what he got fired for like what you said. I guess because he didn't want to work with a woman or something like that. But I saw someone else tweet something about oh, there's no place for women in wrestling and no. It's like, guy, one, you're not in WWE. Two, you're not going to be in WWE with comments like that. And, you know, that's the main event. I think WWE knows what they're doing. And you would be silly not to put Ronda Rousey in the main event of your biggest show to get all those eyeballs in the mainstream media. I mean, that was kind of the angle I took with the stuff I did for work, for where I work, is, you know, Ronda Rousey's from SoCal. She actually grew up, she was born in Riverside. You know, so there's a local angle there. So, I mean, she's a mainstream star. So, I don't even remember the guy's name who said that. I think he was with TNA, but he didn't do himself any favors. But I don't know. You think they would be smarter about their decisions on social media? But that's a whole another show. I can go into that for hours because people don't know how to act on social media, but then they'll be looking for a job. So be good on social media, Rob. Don't get yourself in trouble. And always be professional. And don't tweet anything that you wouldn't say in front of your mother.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
There you
We're
go.
going to prepare for the next show. It starts in just a few minutes.
Look, I'm giving out life lessons to end the show. Hey, y'all.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Ropes. I'm Rob Flores, and I'm joined by...
James Williams of the Southern California News Group.
And Ethan will be here shortly. So, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, it was WrestleMania weekend.
Yes, it was. And Robert missed all of it. Because he had
homework.
He had grown-up responsibilities. I'm not gonna knock you for having grown-up responsibilities. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, it was a good weekend. Can't go wrong with WrestleMania. All 7 hours on Sunday, or might have been more.
James is so tall.
What? Oh, what? I'm so tall you have to adjust the camera?
Yes, I have
Is
to,
that
like,
what's going on?
kind
I
of
don't
higher
think so.
it, I think. Or unless you could lower your chair a little.
Can you believe this? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Lower?
Does it go lower? Or I mean, it's
know.
fine.
Just
it's just like by the hat.
While we're waiting for Ethan, you mentioned my hat.
Yeah, there we go.
I wore purple on purpose for you.
Really?
My cruiserweight color.
Oh, yes.
You didn't even notice. But yeah, so going. I guess we can start there and kind of going off the with the cruiserweight championship, or what? Yeah, is that what they call it? The cruiserweight championship. That was on the pre-show. I think that started the pre-show. Tony Nese did walk away with the championship, defeating Buddy Murphy. If you would have asked me 2 years ago when I was really watching NXT if Buddy Murphy would be in any sort of WrestleMania ring, I don't know if I would have. I mean, there's nothing against Buddy Murphy, but I didn't see that one coming. But anyways, good for him. Good for Tony Nese. Tony Nese does walk away with the purple belt. And we'll see what they do with Tony Nese. I don't watch a lot of the 205 Live during the week, but, you know, Tony Nese has been there long enough to where I'm sure he'll have some sort of impact.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had the Battle Royals, the men's and women's Battle Royals. Actually, when we ended the last show, hour one which is called The Golden Spotlight with Rob Flores. We were talking about DX and whatnot, and I think X-Pac had a really good proposal, I guess you can say, especially with his buddy Triple H kind of running the show now in WWE, at least a little bit. Vince is still in charge. He made a good point about they tried making that Battle Royal and naming it the Mae Young, no, not the Mae Young Classic.
The China?
Because it was originally named after the Fabulous Moolah, but there was some controversy there, and they decided not to give a name to the Women's Battle Royal. X-Pac thinks it should be called the China Memorial Battle Royal, and I think that makes perfect sense.
Well, I mean, I think they...
What say you, Rob?
What was... I don't know what was the controversy with Fabulous Moolah to begin with, considering there was some questionable stuff at first with China.
Well, first of all, no one's perfect, but the rumor, I guess, back in the day, it's rumor because I don't know for a fact. I mean, I wasn't around during this time, but I guess Moolah was training wrestler. I don't know. It was almost like there may have been some sort of prostitution, I think, in it or something. But or she was like very abusive towards the women she was training or whatever at the time. I think she was very, I don't know. She was very strict. She wasn't treating the people she was training and stuff wrong. That next generation of talent back in, this might have been the 70s or 80s or something, but she wasn't treating them right. There might have been some sort of prostitution or something there. I think she was kind of responsible, like in charge of or something. So I think when that kind of came, it might have been, I think it was known, but once people spoke up enough about it, it became a thing. But it was always weird because Moolah was always on WWE. As far as I know, she was just one of the older women's wrestlers. I didn't know much of her history, but it was never like made out to be the secret that she had this checkered past.
It was so bad that Snickers was the one that said they didn't want that.
Who?
Snickers.
Who is Snickers? Snickers the candy.
Yes.
I thought that was a wrestler.
I was like, oh my god.
I'm like, Snickers, huh? Who's that? Independent
wrestler?
Sponsor
Is what got.
I think that's what it was too. If the sponsor probably caught wind of that, and sometimes you gotta adjust to make the sponsors happy too. Sometimes, so.
Wow.
I can see that might have been enough with people speaking out, and then on top of that, and I think especially too when you're looking at the women's evolution or revolution, whichever you want to call it, and what they're trying to do with that, I don't think they wanted to have her name attached to it. So, yeah. So what do you think that should be? Okay, again, China's not perfect either. Let's get that out of the way, but. I mean, she did a lot for.
I heard there was
women's
even other talk about Sensational Sherry.
That would be another good
also.
one. I wouldn't see a problem with that. I think too, though. I think with the way it was presented in the speech, they had Chyna's sister in the crowd. Triple H made it a point. Triple H and Chyna have this history back in the day. But yeah, so Chyna's sister was in the crowd, and Triple H kind of addressed. The sister and was kind of saying, he gave her the Hall of Fame ring and whatnot. So I think that too was part of. I think they're going to go with the Chyna Memorial Battle Royal. I don't see them kind of switching away from that, especially when it was brought out into the forefront like that. So that's just me. I think we'll see that. I was surprised they didn't run with that right away, but I think in the next year or so we'll see it called the Chyna Memorial Battle Royal. I think Sherry would be a good one. I was going to say Trish, but I don't think the Trish Stratus Battle Royal it's maybe a little too soon for that. Not that there's anything wrong with Trish. She hasn't passed away or anything, but I think she was in the first one and whatnot, so. I don't know. I think Chyna is a good fit. I think it is interesting, though, seeing if you remember what Triple H said on the Stone Cold podcast, it might have been 2 or 3 years ago now, the reasons you were kind of hinting at there with Chyna's history and Triple H saying, oh, Chyna won't go in the Hall of Fame because of her history. If this generation or if Triple H's children were to look up Chyna on Google, they're going to see some things that aren't very aren't for children, let's say that. So I do think he has a point, but I mean, you had to put her in there. You can't not put Chyna in the Hall of Fame. So I think they did it. I think they did it the right way, at least for now. Getting all of DX in there. But I think at the end of the day, they still do need to put her in there by herself. I think that's the right thing to do. Hopefully that'll come along. I think X-Pac also deserves to be in the Hall of Fame on his own as a solo star.
And it's very interesting because we have not seen him in the ring in WWE.
Who?
X-Pac. Only a run-in, during the Sting match.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
But
yeah.
Online, apparently he was. There was a photo that he, I guess, competed because he was in ring attire, with the Hurricane, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think Triple H. I mean, X-Pac is still. I don't think he's officially retired. Yeah, I don't know about that.
A WWE match.
So you're saying him and Hurricane may have had a dark match?
Probably.
I don't.
But with Jushin Thunder Liger.
I doubt it.
Because it's a picture of the three of them in the ring. And the Hurricane and X-Pac are like on their knees, like bowing to.
And obviously,
Jushin Thunder Liger.
this is.
And the Hurricane
It looked like
thanks
a picture. It looked like a picture from today. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. He
Xbox hair
says
and
thank you
whatnot.
to WWE and thank you to some other organization for allowing this
Well,
to
actually,
happen.
I was thinking that's kind of crazy, but actually, no, it's not because Jushin Thunder Liger was part of the first Cruiserweight Classic, I think.
Huh.
So I think, or no, I think he just did a guest spot on.
Yeah, because it's like
on
his
NXT.
retirement tour thing going
Okay,
on now.
I mean that might have totally been the case because Jushin Thunder Liger was on NXT. I think he did a random main event spot. I think on NXT like a year or two ago. So it wouldn't be completely insane. So I can see that. But yeah, I don't think X-Pac is done wrestling. I mean, and he's still involved in the industry. Obviously, his buddies Triple H and the Clique and whatnot, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, he has a podcast and everything. You know, he's still up to date with all the wrestling and whatnot. Shows up and you can see him in the stands sometimes. So I think he'll go in. And I don't think he's done wrestling either. He might still be doing some independent stuff.
Oh yeah. And then I think we'll take our first break real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Are we gonna do a dance break like Carmella and then R-Truth?
You're gonna do some R-Truth moves right now?
No, I mean I could try, but we won't air that, so it's not gonna look good. I don't know. I got nothing.
Need to grab breakfast or lunch on the run? Visit Carl's Jr. in the USU, the little place with the big taste.
You might want to take a long walk on the
I thought
Great
those
Wall
were
of
brass
China
knucks.
2019 and get
What?
most credit for it.
I'm like, he's in here with brass
Study about
knuckles. What's
office
going
and
on?
Learn more about global opportunities to study, intern,
like,
volunteer, work abroad, and a lot more.
You gonna take
The
me out?
education abroad options include
Why were you late to class?
academic
Why didn't
program,
you show up to class,
summer
young
and
man?
winter sessions, and semester programs. The Study Abroad office hosts frequent general workshop every month. Go to their website, csulv.edu,
Oh, is this the Renee Dupree promo?
international to learn more.
Why she's gonna play it now?
Where is that one?
You don't need your glasses
Hi,
to
I'm
see.
Pat Graham, inviting
This
you
is a
to
radio
join me
show.
Thursday
No, he's
afternoons,
never done an
3 to
episode
5
without
for the
that.
Blues Highway.
We were just
Right
talking
here on
about.
22 West
Yeah, I just
Radio.
kind of ran through some pre-show
Together
stuff.
we'll
We
listen
kind
to
of winged
masters
the
of the
first
past,
hour because it's
like Muddy Waters and Coco Taylor, and
So we
today's
did kind
living
of talk about
legends,
some stuff,
including
but
Al
we were just
Blake
trying
and
to wing
James
through it.
Harmon.
But
It's
so
two
we just kind of
wonderful
started with
hours
the pre-show.
of non-stop blues. And since my show originates from Long
I
Beach,
lead in.
California,
I led in
I
with my purple
spotlight Southern
hat as a
California blues
transition
groups
into
at the top of that
talking about
4
Tony
o'clock
Nese
hour
winning the
as I bring you
belt. But
blues
we haven't gotten
locally.
into any of the main card stuff.
So I'll see you
so
Thursday
you didn't miss
afternoons,
anything. We're talking
3 to
about
5, right here on 22
China or
radio.com
Xbox
for the
saying
Blues
China.
Highway.
It should be called the
Let's
China
ride.
Memorial Battle Royal, and just we were kind of stalling. So well, we can talk main card.
And we're back with Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan, joining the team finally.
There you are.
I was running late. Of course, we're also joined by
James Williams,
Rob,
co-host Rob. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, where you can give us a like. We post various videos, episodes of the past shows.
and controversial nonsense on why Kofi Kingston should have been in the main event over the.
Oh, my point was proven this past weekend, actually.
Why? Because
Why?
of the finish?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you coming in hot,
Yeah,
huh?
that's right.
You trying to get a stunner? I'll give you a stunner right now.
We'll save that. We'll save that for a little bit later. But
Don't get me all worked up.
But no, I went back to my Kofi should have been invented scenario, which we'll talk about in a bit. You guys were talking about the pre-show, I believe, as you mentioned off the air. Let's get into the main card.
Yes.
It started off hot. Alexa Bliss, the host of WrestleMania, came out and said, with the snap of her fingers, she could make a WrestleMania moment happen. She called brother. Hulk Hogan came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quick little promo, kind of just getting the fans riled up for the show.
Yeah. Can I pause you there for a second? Did you guys see Hogan at the Hall of Fame and the look New Day was given? Well, actually, they were like, even No Way Jose,
There were a
like,
number of people,
They were like looking down, didn't even acknowledge the fact that Hogan was there.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they still got the whole.
Because I saw the Biggie tweet.
Yeah, Biggie kind of.
I don't think I saw a tweet. What did he tweet?
He tweeted on Sunday, WrestleMania Day, that everyone deserves a second chance, and he appreciated what, Hulk Hogan had to say to him, I guess personally, and that he kind of said his piece to Hogan as well. So
Gotcha.
it looks like they've mended some.
They probably had a follow up based on maybe what happened because I know they originally talked when Hogan came back and they
weren't
still
happy.
Right. So well, that's
so
good to hear.
It seems they've at least between Biggie and Hogan, they've kind of settled some differences there. Hogan was interrupted by Paul Heyman.
Yes, he was.
Walked down the ramp, walked into the ring, and said, "If Brock Lesnar isn't headlining, closing out the show, they're not going to stick around."
Oh, so he really did say that? Okay.
No, he did, yeah.
Because I kind of knew that's what was up.
And so Brock came out, and we started off with the Universal title match. Seth came out with an interesting entrance, kind of a Beast Slayer.
No, that's right.
Entrance, yeah. The match didn't even start.
Yeah,
right away.
right.
Brock went after Seth, beat him up for like what seemed like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good minute out
he,
there.
F5'd him, threw him across the barricades, across the announce tables.
He should have done a couple more F5s.
I mean, that was really the only offense he had, right? Once they kind of got in the ring.
Once the bell rang, he hit 3 German suplexes.
Did he?
And then the ref bump happened, where the ref kind of went outside of the ring after being pushed into by Brock. A low blow happened, and then 3 consecutive curb stomps for Seth to win that Universal Championship.
You can tell Brock was a sore loser about the whole thing, I could just first of all, I don't blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to wait 5 hours to be 3-4 hours to be in the middle of the card, and then you're gonna lose. Like, can we just get it over with and I can go home? I bet you he was home before the main event even started.
That's a definite possibility. I was surprised that this started, but they needed to start it hot. I mean, you have all those matches go on, why not start it with the big one?
It kind of gets you thinking right off the bat, because when you see a title change like that, especially for one of their world title or their main championships, it makes you start thinking, oh, well, Kofi's not going to win because Rollins won, and and that actually ended up not being the case. So
yeah, there were a number of surprises.
Yes, there was.
I think majority of the faces went over. Which was definitely
kind of surprising, and I was talking to Rob's brother and Christian outside before the show, and that was one of the things I mentioned because I think your brother had mentioned that Shane beat the Miz, and
just like I said, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, but you got to have some heel. You got to have a heel win.
Did you see how he went?
Right.
We'll get to it right now. But
are we going in order?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and go in order. I'm looking up the map.
And if we want to leave some time to talk about Raw after.
Yeah, and then we have the shake-up next week, so I wanted to make talk a little bit about that. So we've got to kind of try and rush through this a bit.
Cool.
Let me see the results. Okay. So you guys talked about the pre-show. Next up was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Oh yeah.
AJ picked up the victory.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of surprising, but after last Tuesday on SmackDown when Randy kind of RKO'd him and stood tall. Kind of makes sense. AJ also did sign a new contract with the company, so.
But I think in that case, though, too, sorry to interrupt you, but it's kind of like, again, when you look back at how many faces won, if you're trying to balance it out at all,
that would have been a match.
That totally should have been a match. And I mean, I'm okay with AJ winning, but it's kind of like if the goal is to have some sort of balance, I think that definitely should have been a match that could have easily gone the other way.
Definitely. Next up, SmackDown Tag Team title match, a Fatal 4-Way, which was announced after we made our predictions. It was the Usos taking on Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Bar. No Hardys. They were in the pre-show.
Yeah, they were.
Which was disappointing. However, tonight, it is confirmed they do get a tag title opportunity against the Usos. Yes.
Oh yeah,
that should be interesting. Wow. And the Hardy or the Usos actually, I heard signed a contract.
They also signed a 5-year, I think. They're trying to sign them for long term.
Right.
The Usos did retain. Obviously they'll be defending them tonight. It was a real fun match.
I just realized we have the same colors of our intro names on the show.
What is this?
Blue, red, and purple.
Yes.
That's funny.
Your name's in purple on the show.
My name is in purple. Oh my god, because I'm the cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this was a fun match. You know,
It was a good match.
I really enjoyed this WrestleMania overall. Like,
Mhm.
it was a really strong showing.
Definitely.
The matches were solid, and again, the results were some of them were surprising. Falls Count Anywhere match: Shane McMahon versus Amiss.
It literally were.
Yeah.
Falls did count anywhere in this.
Falls did count anywhere because most of it took place outside.
It's almost kind of sad. I'm kind of over Shane in a way, just in the ring, because you just already assume and know there's going to be a high spot, and they're almost kind of just forced in there, and just kind of.
The Miz's father got involved in this match.
Yes, he
He
did.
got beat up by Shane. There's this meme.
Did you
the
see the
picture,
meme? It's so
picture
good. So
going
good.
around of Miz's father.
In,
like
in a
the
good
fighting
stance.
pose.
He had a better stance than I did.
James
so
Ellsworth.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I think even James actually did post a picture of
Did he?
of Miz's dad on his Instagram with that pose.
Right.
It ended with a suplex off like this like structure.
Off the scaffold or
the
whatever I think
scaffold
it's
where the
called, yeah.
camera was at.
Okay, yeah.
And they obviously fell on some sort of platform.
Mm-hmm.
So Miz kind of landed. I was watching it back. Miz landed on Shane because it was a suplex and
Mhm.
he hit. But you notice from a different like camera's perspective, Shane kind of moves his arm over the Miz
Right.
to get that
Just
last
to get
pin.
it. Yeah.
Which he did end up winning the match. Miz apparently got some staples after this, so yeah, it must have been a
Where
brutal
at?
fall. I'm assuming the head.
The head, yeah. That's not fun.
Yeah, so we'll see if that storyline continues tonight or if they're just going to
Yeah.
move on from it. Who knows? One of my favorite moments of the night, Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team title match. Bailey and Sasha defended against Nia Jax and Tamina versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus the Iconics.
I couldn't sleep last night, and so I did find myself on the network kind of catching up with some of those behind-the-scene videos because they were so great. I was scrolling through that photo gallery of behind-the-scenes photos and whatnot from WrestleMania, and then I stumbled upon the video.
The video where
with the Iconics and the side plates.
they're getting their championship plates put on their titles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a 9-minute video.
And that was so great
It
because
was amazing.
Ethan, I had no idea.
Does Kofi's belt at least has that?
Kofi's,
yeah,
Kofi's
yeah.
had. We'll get into that in a
Okay.
minute. But for the Iconics though, it was. I just watched the video. Usually those videos are no longer than a minute or two.
Yeah, they just show them.
And I didn't know that it was a movie. Damn, it was damn near a movie. I didn't know it was going to be 9 minutes long until after I shared it on Twitter, and I was like, 8 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah.
Man, they had me hook, line, and sinker for the whole video, and I was still kind of wanting more. I thought.
Oh, I tweeted out I wanted a weekly like episode
yeah,
of this.
right.
The Iconics just going around bugging people. 'Cause
definitely.
that's what they were doing essentially, and it was great.
So good.
The Iconics did win those
They
women's
did.
tag team titles as I predicted. I was really happy about
I
my prediction.
I thought there was no way, but they got it.
I don't think anybody had them,
I know.
but they got a good pop at the end.
They did.
They're
They're
for
good.
them.
They're
Yeah,
good.
I like them. They're great heels. They're an actual team. And
That
so,
video was so good.
Yeah, that video.
That's a good point. I need more.
Yeah,
I need more of those videos. Those are good.
Next up, my personal opinion, the match of the night, the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. Which is why I go back to saying this should have closed the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best match of the night, like when you compare it to everything else. In terms of at least wrestling, like this didn't have a stipulation,
Yeah.
this didn't have any of that.
Right.
Also, the moment at the end was very heartfelt, and the crowd reaction was great. So
I think it would have too given it away. If
Yeah.
it was the main event.
probably.
Because I mean, it goes back. It was almost a Daniel Bryan storyline.
Yeah, so. But there was a lot of good moments throughout the show, so it kind of got put in almost the middle, which is fine. It had its own moment. It had plenty of time. I think this is one of the longer matches, 23 minutes and 45 seconds. So.
What did you think of the belt with the side plates already on it under the cloth, and then they had the shirts already made?
I didn't really have an issue with that.
I didn't either, but I thought it was kind of like, I get it, it's scripted or whatever,
Right.
but it's kind of like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's kind of like, what would have happened if he lost? Then what do you do?
Well, there's a funny quote.
That Corey, what they usually would do with the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals shirts, and they send them to a third world country, right?
So essentially, great match back and forth. Kofi took out Rowan. New Day were there supporting. Ultimately, Kofi was able to overcome, and he did like those kicks to the head.
Trouble in Paradise.
He did a Trouble Paradise to win the match. They kind of New Day hugged it out for a minute. They went outside. Yeah. New Day threw away kind of the Daniel Bryan title, and revealed, obviously, as you mentioned, the traditional championship with Kofi's side plates already on it.
They do need a baby blue strap on that. I was kind of like, it's kind of underwhelming with the black strap. I get it though, but if you ask Rob wanted a whole New Day title, so take that for what it is.
They did have,
but they
like special release tag team titles, but those were only on Shop.
Oh,
those weren't like they didn't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, those were only released on the Shop.
So, not to interrupt any further than I already have, but going back to the shirts for a minute, I guess Dave Meltzer tweeted out, who is a wrestling journalist or whatever you would classify him as.
Right.
He tweeted out that they posted those shirts on WWE Shop, Kofi shirts, right before the match started. And he was tweeting it out like, oh, that's a giveaway because it does say Kofi, new champion or whatever, and has him holding the belt with the other New Day guys. But then come to find out, and I don't know if this was, I think it wasn't like prominent on the WWE Shop website, but I think it was there if you were to type in New Day. But Daniel Bryan had shirts too that said like champion, that said, still the champion. Right, so it's kind of like, normally Bryan's shirts would have been the ones they sent to third world country, but they put them on sale, and they were on there too.
Interesting.
So I'm curious to see where they're going with that, or why they would have. Normally they wouldn't have done that, but
yeah, I did not hear any of that. So,
because they even promoted it on the show because Alexa Bliss was like, "Oh, these are the shirts." When everyone thought Bryan was gonna win.
That's right.
They kind of played up on it after, but I was kind of surprised to see, because I think they had Bo Dallas and what's his face wearing them. Yeah. But anyways, carry on. Just wanted to mention the shirts.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that, so that's interesting. They celebrated. Kofi's kids entered the ring.
That's right.
Fun moment, fireworks, huge celebration. Next up, 1 minute. This match was entirely 1 whole minute. And I kind of liked it.
Oh, the Rey Mysterio.
The United States Championship match, Samoa Joe took on Rey Mysterio. Lasted a minute. Mysterio came out in a Mysterio outfit from Spider-Man. He was dressed as a villain.
Was it Reptile or?
No, he was a Mysterio.
Oh, Mysterio. Oh,
I
thought it looked like a reptile. I thought someone said it was a reptile.
It's kind of
because Mysterio's the question marks, right?
No, that's.
He's the magician with
that's
the
a
glass
different. That's
fishbowl
DC. That's
thing?
I don't know.
You're thinking
I'm thinking of Batman, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Don't mind me.
Mysterio will be in the next Spider-Man movie coming out in July or whatever.
Is he really?
Yeah, there's the trailer out. So it kind of makes sense. He dresses up as
that's cool.
But 1 minute, and they didn't play up the whole Dominic storyline or anything.
Right, which was like
they just rushed this match.
Going. Well, yeah, he was hurt.
He was hurt, so that was the.
Gotta get that paycheck though.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. But I mean, you can't really you're not gonna scrap the match. You're not going to.
Right, and it made Joe look good.
Yeah, I mean, Joe needed a moment. I mean, they haven't put the title on him, the world title on him, or the WWE title, Universal, whatever.
Right.
But I mean, you gotta give him a moment. So.
Roman Reigns made his return to singles competition, taking on Drew McIntyre. Decent match. Roman won, as expected. Not surprising with the Superman punch and a spear. I kind of forgot about this match, to be quite honest, when the show was happening. So.
I kind of did too, and we talked about the Randy Orton AJ Styles match. I think this is another match when you look at all the baby faces that did win. This is totally a match that could have went the other way, especially if you do want to have Drew McIntyre be a spoiler, ruining Roman Reigns' return, getting a little more heat on McIntyre. I think this would have been another great match to have, but you got to get your main guys over, so that's what was the case here.
Yeah, the entire story was, can Roman Reigns come back
That's
from,
right.
Doing that. He was obviously in the Shield, and he had help there, obviously.
Right, coming back from leukemia.
Right, so overcoming that and being able to come back on the biggest stage to overcome that.
Right.
So that was kind of the story there.
This is the first time he didn't headline WrestleMania in 3 or 4 years?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think he was always headlining.
Since 31,
Yeah.
he was the main event. 31, 32, yeah, the last 4.
Yep.
Next up, fun match, no holds barred match.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H took on Batista. They both had some special entrances.
Of course. You know Triple H. If there's one thing that's for sure,
it's Triple H.
Triple H's entrance, right? In some sort of vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Batista came out in a vehicle too.
Did he? I don't even think I remember. I didn't even.
It was just like an Escalade, like a Hollywood entrance.
Which makes it interesting because I was explaining to Rob that how he got all noodle leg. Did you see that when he almost tripped coming into the ring?
Yes.
But then I was also telling Rob that I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if there was a moment where someone whispered in his ear, or maybe this was something he learned in acting school or something, but did you notice he kind of walked around the ring, he kind of taunted Triple H's parents and whatnot, but he walked around the ring not once, but he walked around it again, and he more or less redid the entrance back into the ring, which if they want to edit that later on the network, worked perfectly and erased the trip.
Which they haven't.
They didn't? Okay, I was
curious. No, I watched it back. And they kept that part in.
That was interesting.
So I'm like, yeah, I thought the same thing.
Because I thought for sure, I'm like, that's genius.
They're going to redo it. Because they've done it with the Hall of Fame. There was the incident.
The Bret Hart incident?
Bret Hart.
We talked about that in hour 1. I was very upset about it. I figured they would have cut, on the USA.
No, they cut it out in the network.
On the network too.
I watched it right after it ended, like that same night, and it was already cut out. You just see Bret Hart's hair kind of messed up and... Like that's really all. There's no mention of it. There's no.
Was it like a cut? Like how did the transition there work?
The camera just went to a different camera, and then they just kind of. It was like a very smooth.
It was very smooth.
Yeah, I was
I'll
like,
have to go back and watch it. Okay.
Yeah, go back.
That was the other one where I was talking to Rob, and I was kind of like, I mean, they're not going to spotlight that guy, so
right.
I'm curious how they're going to.
Completely were able to cut it out.
That's cool.
You can tell that the wrestlers were kind of. Like bummed out
right.
after that. So.
Ooh, did you see that Wilder shot though?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was so great.
That was great.
We won't spend too much time on it. We talked about it already, but I had to mention that again.
Yeah.
That was a nice shot.
Let's get back to the no holds barred match. Some great spots.
Oh Jesus.
The finger spot where Triple H is trying to crush Batista's fingers.
The nose ring spot.
The nose ring spot.
That was great.
Where he pulled out Batista's nose ring.
That was great. Do you think he really pulled it out, or do you think one of the guys on YouTube was saying the ref handed?
It looked like the ref might have handed another ring, and Batista could have taken it out.
Yeah, because Batista was rolling around there. So
yeah, so it's possible. Yeah,
it was a good spot.
But there was at least some blood on Batista.
Yeah, they got a little color on there. I thought that was a good spot.
There was steel steps involved.
I feel like Batista took all the bumps in this. I don't. What did Batista get on Triple H? Oh, there was like a table spot.
There was a table spot that didn't break.
But that was.
They used it.
Yeah.
After there was a DDT on the steps. Like he went up vertical.
That's right.
But yeah, ultimately the sledgehammer came into play.
And you know how that goes.
Ric Flair came out and kind of taunted Batista.
Right.
And then Triple H did this like Superman punch style sledgehammer spot.
Off the step. Yeah.
Off the steps.
Right.
And then did a pedigree. And
did he still have to do the pedigree after? I don't remember.
He did that, yeah, because Batista was still standing.
Yeah, he got to get his moves in. So.
Yeah, and then Batista officially announced yesterday he was retired.
Yeah, he did that same night, hours after the show.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
What did you think about? Which was kind of. I don't know how I felt about it because it was like, okay, this is a Triple H retirement match, but at the same time, it's kind of like you could have played up the.
I expected Batista was going to retire because I think he mentioned that he just wanted one.
Yeah. That's true.
And I'm sure.
But why not
really care about a big send off?
Well, of course not. But again, I don't know why you don't just throw that stipulation in there to make it, because it was kind of silly in the first place. And when you look at it, especially looking back at it, it's kind of like. This is a career-ending match. If Triple H loses, if Batista loses,
nothing. Yeah.
So it's kind of like
I don't know why they didn't.
But it's cool. Like you said, he didn't want. It's kind of like Stone Cold. He didn't want a big send-off. He didn't want really anyone to know or whatever. But you go out the way you want.
Probably the low light of the night. Baron Corbin took on Kurt Angle in his final match.
Going back for a second, I think that kind of may have played into it too. Maybe if they know Batista's going to lose, they don't want to have a retirement match, only to follow it up with another match. And
they already had a farewell.
And then you're kind of taken away from Angle's moment in a way, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of. As soon as the match ended, like it just went straight into the Kurt Angle stuff.
Yeah, right.
Baron Corbin defeated Kurt Angle with the end of days. Not totally surprising.
You gotta have a heel to win somewhere at this point.
And especially when Kurt Angle's done, like, it's not who anyone wanted, I'm sure, but you know.
But if the people backstage like if you know they see potential with him, why not try and build him up in a match like that? I think the thing is, people were saying, oh, why Corbin? Why have Angle lose? I was explaining to someone on Twitter too. Why have Angle lose in his farewell match? Well, when you look back at it, everyone except Austin. Not that Austin was different, but I don't think anyone knew he was really retiring. But everyone who's retired lost. Shawn Michaels lost in his retirement match. Ric Flair did. McFoley might have, but he's come back a few times. But I mean, obviously everyone always comes back.
Yeah.
But the unofficial rule in wrestling is you do the job on the way out.
You put someone else.
You put someone else over, right?
On your way out.
So.
Predictable,
but
yeah. Kurt Angle got to say his goodbyes and did the "You suck" chant at the end. And then
he got smashed by Lars Sullivan the next night.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. This wasn't included here, but I'm looking at the match list. Elias had a segment.
Yes, he did.
He was a one-man band because he was playing piano on one screen, and the next to him was another Elias playing drums, and then in the ring he was playing guitar, and he was interrupted. Do you want to predict?
I told him already.
You found out, yeah.
Oh.
No, that was Monday. That was Cena.
Oh.
Yeah,
the doctor of thugonomics.
They should have included Matt Hardy, incorporate the leg to explain that.
Or he could have just come out as thugonomics the way he did.
I was fine with the way
Matt Hardy.
I'm not a fan of Cena, but I was fine with this because it was actually somewhat entertaining.
A lot of people were rolling their eyes at the fact that, like, really? And I'm like, this might get
It's better than just having regular John Cena come out and do whatever.
And just put him, get over, and then that was it.
At least he was a little creative with that.
Right. It was different. Unexpected.
Yeah, because everyone was like, well, it's going to be Cena, but no one expected.
I think people were thinking Cena or Taker. Or even when Cena came out, then they already thought Undertaker was going to come out too because of the angle.
Did they at least have the Hall of Famers all come out at once like they used to?
They had that. They had that. Yeah. They had that moment. You got to have that moment.
Next up, Intercontinental Championship match.
This was
5 minutes.
This was one I forgot about.
Finn Balor took on the Demon Finn Balor took on Bobby Lashley. Really strong showing for both guys because Lashley got some moves in, but Balor was able to hit a power bomb, which is impressive onLashley, and then hit a coup de grace like all the way to the middle of the ring. It looked like, and he won back that title. So
good for him.
Main event time. Becky Lynch took on Ronda Rousey.
That was a main event.
And Charlotte.
Yeah, I guess. I keep thinking there's supposed to be more.
We went through a lot.
Yeah.
So this match was good.
A lot of people didn't like that finish.
Yeah, it felt a little flat.
I think her shoulders weren't down or something.
Well, her shoulders weren't down in the one count, and then they were.
I mean, they were. But by the time the 3 came, but it's I guess. They're just gonna nitpick. Someone's always gonna nitpick something, but I thought it worked. I mean, it was kind of surprising though. I didn't.
It came out of nowhere, which is why it kind of fell
flat. Right. There was no this is it. I'm gonna.
But there was a good audience reaction. Obviously, they wanted Becky to win. She got her moment.
The champ tweet.
What?
The champ tweet.
Oh yeah, she's the champ.
Oh, the champ. Yeah. Or what'd she say? 2-belt Becky on Raw.
Becky on Raw.
I thought that was great. She got the crowd going with that, and then Cole's like, "That should be a shirt." Like, yes, Cole, we know it will be a shirt.
All right. So we're gonna take it to a commercial break. Then we're gonna talk about Raw after Mania, and then maybe some predictions for a Superstar Shakeup happening next week. So when we return, we're going to talk about some of the interesting stuff that happened last night on Raw.
I was telling Rob, but we don't want to talk about it on
Did you know that Long Beach State offers 150
They got me with that damn WWE shop thing.
An annual tuition.
They're like, oh, we'll give you t-shirts. I'm like, I'm going to give me a Kofi Kingston t-shirt. And then they're like,
one of the
no
best
new
valued
shirts.
Campuses in the nation.
Like all the old shirts. Yeah, it was like all the old shirts. Because they're trying to clear all the old stuff out. So, and then plus, I think they were only on pre-sale. Like, they were pre-sale. They weren't even, or they might have been sold out or something. But
well, the new one I think was probably a pre-sale.
Yeah, I think
The
it was.
newest
Like a lot of the newer shirts were.
The University
Yeah,
of
but I was
Louisiana
like, damn
and Cal
it.
State
I
Long
was looking
Beach
today,
is
I was
committed
like,
to
only
providing
35%
an
off.
academically
I'm like,
enriched,
that's-
community-minded,
I mean,
and
the shirts aren't
culturally
that.
diverse environment for talented and
No, it's
high
not too
achievers.
They're not too bad. Like they could be.
The one, buy one get one $1
Priority
would have
registration.
Yeah, that's what I. That's why. Because some guy on Twitter was like, "Oh, let's.
School level preparation.
I'll go half and half with you." I was like, "All right." And then I looked, and then I was like,
And the deadline to apply is
I
December
read the little
For
fine
information,
print.
Please visit our
And it
website.
said-
You go on the website and I'll tell you which shirts are part of the deal.
Right. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I have to wait for the next deal to get. I want that title shirt. The new one.
Yeah, I wanted
Kofi
to.
with his face on it.
I mean, but see, I think that was exactly it. It's kind of, it looked a little silly, like, oh, why would you have that? Why would you already have the shirts made and now like that? But at the same time, I'm sure there were more people just like us, like, I need that shirt. So
They had it ready for you.
they had it ready. So I mean, I was
for the moment.
I was ready to buy it before the show was over. So
Yeah.
and that's what you can play the Renee Dupree promo.
Oh, okay.
Might as well.
The French promo.
It's not this one.
And now you're listening to 22 West Radio.
Okay.
You're listening to 22S Radio.
I'm listening to 22. What? Sorry?
You're listening to 22 West Radio.
I'm listening to 22 West Radio.
So yeah, I mean,
You're listening to 22 West Radio.
You're listening to 22 West Radio.
there it
Bonjour
is.
tout le monde. Is this what you think French music is? Just accordions and waltz? Well, you're wrong. My name is Ricardo Alejandro.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Renee Dupree.
Francois.
My name
And
is
I'm your
Renee
host along with
Dupree.
my
And you
lovely
can call me
co-host, Selena
Francois.
Castañeda,
And my
aka
puppy.
Kaz. And we are Francois sur la radio.
During Tori Wilson's speech, I was waiting for her to say what happened to the dog.
Oh, that's right.
I thought it was sad what happened to her dad, though.
Yeah.
Especially because the whole angle back in the day was that he died.
Bad,
And I didn't really know that was her
old,
dad.
And the new, as well as influence.
I thought that was her gimmick dad.
And anything related to the French culture.
No, I just thought that was a gimmick dad.
Join us for un temps
And then,
inoubliable or an unforgettable time. Tune in every
Remind me to
Tuesday
tell
from 9
you
to
some of the homework.
Yes,
mes chers amis. Bonsoir.
I didn't want to miss, but I was
au
like,
revoir.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yours
anything too
truly,
crazy, but
Francois.
we graded our own.
Yeah, I turned that in online.
Yeah. You should be alright.
She grades it herself anyway.
She had us grade it herself.
And we're back with Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 84, Beyond the Ropes? Episode
83.
83. Or, I thought we had 83 last week.
No, 82 was last week's.
Was it 2 hour special?
They all run together when you're having fun.
Yeah, honestly. We are currently on you now with the hashtag
Ask Questions.
And we are on YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes. We are currently also on Facebook. Give us a like there, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. We are also on Twitter at EthanNV95.
At JHW Reporter.
And
Rob Flores Media.
Awesome. Let's get into Raw After Mania. Kicked off with Seth Rollins kind of addressing the crowd. Brock Lesnar's gone, at least for the time being.
Right.
Kofi and the New Day came out. Surprise.
Yes, they did.
Kofi made the challenge. Winner take all. He's like, he wanted to follow in footsteps of Becky Lynch.
Okay, yeah.
Champion versus champion. But kind of knew right away that this
especially
wasn't...
when they started doing the SmackDown promo, I was saying live celebration.
Well, I know people were bringing that up on Twitter. I was like, well, they kind of don't always follow through with that stuff anyways. So
Right.
I was like, but I kind of...
I mean, yeah, because
still
they
expect...
I mean, they could have played off that and said, well, I was expecting to have the title here for you guys tonight on SmackDown. But,
Right.
yeah, so I could have seen that working out. But you knew there was going to be a screwy finish there at the end. But we can get to that in a minute.
Yeah, some highlights, trying to go off the top of my head.
Lars Sullivan?
Baron Corbin came out and kind of addressed Kurt Angle. He wanted his own gold medal. Kurt Angle came out, hit him with an Olympic slam, put him in the ankle lock. You know, kind of a happy farewell from Angle.
We thought it was going to end there.
We thought it was going to end there, and then we hear that piano with the shriek.
Mm-hmm.
Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the piano, so I didn't know what we were getting there. But
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so this is how they're bringing him in. He came in, hit the freak accident, which is one of his finishing moves on Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of kind of thought that was it. Then he looks at the turnbuckle and goes up there, hits a very nice looking headbutt.
Yeah.
So
He looked good.
He looked good. Came out, got some boos, which is the point of it. That was good.
Curious to see where they go from there, because again, if Kurt Angle's done, obviously that's not the story they're going with. I don't know, maybe they'll have him job out a few guys or get over on a few guys and then build them up maybe towards a title match. I can see him maybe doing something like that down the road.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously well liked. He was supposed to, rumored to have a match with Cena at WrestleMania.
Who, Lars?
Yeah.
Oh.
That did not happen, obviously. But he's here now, so we'll see where he goes. Maybe he'll show up on SmackDown tonight. He's not. I don't think he's exclusive.
You know
yet.
what? I thought that was kind of. I thought that was kind of silly. Because Michael Cole said that one of the hottest free agents in WWE.
That's right.
I'm just kind of like, he's in WWE, so he's obviously not a free agent. I mean, yeah, he's a free agent to one of the shows, but he was already on NXT, so he's obviously not going to NXT. I don't know. It's just like, don't overdo it, Cole. Or whoever, it's not Cole, but whoever's in his ear telling him to say whatever he has to say. But don't overthink it, guys.
Alexa Bliss returned to action. She took on Bayley.
Yeah,
she got the victory.
Yes, she did. She looked pretty strong.
She looked pretty good.
She either has a match with Sasha, I'm guessing, today or next week. Heat? You said heat?
There's some heat.
Who has heat?
Oh, between those two.
Who?
They don't like each other.
Sasha and a lot of girls don't like Alexa.
Oh, but I think
sure.
there's a
you talking about like
I didn't know. Like they haven't liked each other for a long time. So it's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Well, they obviously have to be professional and cordial with each other on screen,
yeah.
which they are. But you can tell on social media. Like Sasha called her out for blocking her, and it goes back a while ago because I think she called out Alexa for being like a fake fan of wrestling.
Oh, okay.
This was like even 2 years ago or something.
Sasha called Alexa
out, yeah. Something interesting is happening with Sasha. She canceled an appearance today on the Wendy Williams show for personal reasons.
Well,
and she's
no. Okay.
Well, yeah, but she also made some cryptic tweets over the last. Go back to her Twitter account and you'll see some interesting comments. So
so it's kind of interesting because I've been thinking about that kind of stuff because I think we talked about that with Naomi last week. Again, I said I was on the network and I was scrolling through a lot of these photos of the behind the scenes stuff and I thought it's just interesting because everyone looks so happy and everyone like it's before the show. You have Sasha and Bayley smiling and I mean a lot of these decisions are made and it's understood like. You already know you're gonna lose the title, but that doesn't mean like you don't let that ruin your whole day. I mean, it's just part of the show. But when you see, when you see they're smiling, they're having a good time, and that's not saying that they're not supposed to if they're mad or upset about something. They can still be upset about something, but it's just kind of interesting to see that when people hear like, oh, there's cryptic tweets, so Sasha must be sitting in a room by herself in the dark, sad. But I mean,
that's what it seemed like. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just kind of interesting. So it could just be a work. Good.
Trying to think some more highlights.
I don't think she's leaving though.
No, I don't think so. She has nowhere to go.
But I don't want to see a heel. I don't want to see a heel turn either because I feel like she's almost number for number with the Big Show there as far as babyface.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's kind of and she's only a quarter to a career of what Big Show compared to Big Show. So it's kind of like gotta save some of those heel turns.
You have something?
Injuries. Who got injured?
I mean,
people.
Ronda
got injured.
Ronda apparently broke her hand.
I think I did hear Ronda.
Ronda is also set to be done for now.
Yeah, she'll get a little break.
She's not coming back for a while. I don't know who. Oh, Mustafa Ali took a bad bump. I don't know if you guys talked.
I think I did. No, I think I did hear. I think I saw when that happened.
I think he's okay. Yeah, he hit his face against the corner of the announce table.
Oh, I don't think I did.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. I don't know. Oh, AJ.
I think that was the other one. He canceled.
Home.
Yeah.
He was sent home.
He canceled an appearance too, I think.
He left WrestleMania night, and he was set to make an appearance at Access yesterday, and Kofi replaced him. So AJ might be dealing with an injury.
So do they have Access after?
They had it on Monday.
Because everyone's done.
Which is
that makes
interesting.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but they only just did that, I think, this year.
Maybe because I heard that and I was like, wait, when did he replace him? If he was out,
It was Monday,
so that was kind of interesting, but that makes sense.
An interesting promo. Teaser, not really a promo, of a puppet.
Yeah. But I kind of heard a Bray Wyatt laugh.
It's Bray Wyatt.
Is it Bray?
It's totally Bray Wyatt.
Because even on the network, they're playing it up where this mysterious figure.
Essentially, there was smoke coming out of a box, and you see a puppet come out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's apparently the puppet is supposed to be a buzzard. So it makes sense.
Okay.
It would be Bray. Also, he was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, I think.
Oh, was he?
People mentioned it. So
I didn't have to look at it closely.
And then he was kind of laughing and coughing.
Yeah,
So it was like a Bray.
It did sound like a Bray Wyatt laugh there at the end. I'm assuming
Changing
it's
up
Bray.
his character. So
I wonder what it's gonna be. Whoop.
Hopefully it's interesting.
Mhm.
Mojo Rawley got another backstage promo.
You know, I didn't see that, but I saw it on the network and thought that was kind of interesting.
He was talking to himself in the mirror again. This time the mirror was broken.
So he's done this before.
Yes, but not with the broken mirror
Right.
or the paint.
The paint
He had
thing.
blue face paint around his eye.
It looked like he did with the big pin.
Yeah. And then one of it, from looking at himself in the mirror, it looked like one eye was like looking up.
Which I thought was a cool
little.
It was a good little effect.
Good visual. But
I don't know.
yeah, where are they going with that?
Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with that.
Blue.
It did. You should check it out because if you haven't, it was good.
Go on their YouTube page, you'll find all that stuff.
I just thought for comedy purposes, the blue meanie was like another set of them there.
Oh goodness.
Lacey Evans might be getting her push.
Was
she came out during? She punched Becky Lynch,
Right in
and
the
they led
face.
into a brawl.
I mean
For
that.
her?
I mean that was an interesting. Which is good because it's not like you got Charlotte or you have Ronda running out there asking for a rematch.
You got someone new.
It's good that you get someone new in there, kind of let Becky have a title run, let her, because she's ever since she's been hot with this new gimmick or I don't know, this push. It's really just kind of been based on Ronda and Charlotte. So it's good to kind of see her now interact with others.
Absolutely. So those were the highlights. At the end of the night, we forgot about Elias and The Undertaker.
Yes, we did.
Elias came out, got a promo, said, anyone who comes out here is going to be a dead man.
The expert, yeah.
Then you hear Undertaker's theme song.
So obvious, but so good.
It was so good. His face was amazing. And then he got hit with the choke slam and a tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so we got Undertaker there. Weird that he didn't show up to WrestleMania.
Right. Part of me wonders if that was a last-minute decision to...
Maybe. He was in the...
He was in the area, and he's like... Yeah. But what I took away, and I think we briefly talked about it on the first hour, or when on the Golden Spotlight with Rob Flores, was the fact that there was all this... What is the relationship between The Undertaker and WWE with The Undertaker doing that AEW signing or whatever it was?
Yeah, the Starrcast.
Starrcast, that's what it was. But it seems like they're
fine,
on some good terms.
Yeah, definitely. Main event got interrupted by the bar, and it led to the crowd completely turning on everyone. There were some AEW chants apparently.
Was there?
I believe so. I didn't hear them, but apparently there were.
It's kind of random.
Yeah, people did not like the fact that the match was interrupted by the bar. They were expecting something else.
I mean, what could they have been expecting? I mean, was I expecting the bar? No, but was I expecting something screwy to happen there? Yeah.
Undisputed Era.
T-shirts?
Everybody was tweeting. Everybody was tweeting about
that
Undisputed
makes sense.
Era.
Because they were supposed to,
Which they don't need to because they're fighting NXT right now.
Do any of them have belts?
No, not at the moment. NXT Takeover happened. Great match, great show.
Cole,
we didn't talk about that. No.
Didn't he win the title?
Gargano beat him.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Even after taking everyone's finisher like 3 times.
Right.
Which is,
That's the thing nowadays.
Yeah, it's fine. It was a good match. But yeah, that was kind of Raw after Mania in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Tonight we have SmackDown after Mania. Expect something interesting to happen. Hopefully
you'll get some
next week, Monday and Tuesday, Superstar Shakeup happening across both brands.
Right.
We got a couple minutes. Do we want to make any predictions on who's going to show up on which brand, who's going where?
I think it's hard to say, just because when you look on who, you see who gets moved to Raw, then...
Forgot to mention Sami Zayn made a return.
That's right.
He had a great match with Finn Balor. and cut an amazing promo afterwards, calling out everyone for being a critic. And
Which I thought was good, and he should have
amazing.
stopped. He should have stopped right there. But then he went on about calling people ugly, and I thought it lost all its momentum.
Well, people were cheering because that crowd loved Sammy. So
Right.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Again, though,
I was fine with it.
He had me with the everyone's a critic, and you just expect us to put on a show for you,
Mhm.
blah, blah, and then he just went on about you guys are ugly, and
The ending was great.
What did he say at the end? Because I kind of tuned out
Because
after
he
saw
said
people ugly.
the last thing before he walked out, he's like, "See you in hell."
Oh.
He literally just dropped the mic and walked out.
I remember
like,
that too.
That's amazing.
I was like, oh.
Like
okay.
that was just an abrupt ending, but it was.
That comment right there, Kane should have came.
I did find that.
it was funny.
that last part interesting. I do remember that.
I think we're going to see some big changes in the Superstar shakeup. Finn Balor could end up going to SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean it's just
I
kind
don't
of
know.
it's kind of interesting just because when you see Raw and then you see the people come over and you're like, okay, but you really don't have a full understanding of the whole thing till SmackDown happens next week.
Right,
so.
until who shows up on SmackDown.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do.
Oh, the
with
Revival are probably totally going to SmackDown.
I could see that.
They lost their tag titles.
Which actually plays up into what? Because the Usos are on SmackDown.
They might lose their tag titles tonight.
Oh.
They could get traded to
Well,
Raw.
well, because I was telling Rob, I thought that would have been a great match. I don't know if it's been done
They
for
could,
the
no.
Usos and the Revival. I think that'd be a
They
good
could,
kind of
unless
Only
change of
thing is, the
styles.
Hardys never stay together. Just imagine they win the belts, just to one of them get.
Well, I'm just. What are they gonna? Well, I mean, they already know what they're gonna do. They're not gonna switch them if they win it. But it's just a matter of.
We'll find out.
What are
if
they
the
gonna do
Usos
with the
lose
Hardys?
tonight, if they lose the titles tonight, I could see them going to Raw. The Revival already lost their titles, and they lost their rematch last night.
Who are the tag champs on Raw?
Zack Ryder.
Oh, that's right. Well, because I'm just thinking, wherever the Usos go, they're automatically going to be a contender.
Mhm.
And in that case, they're going to be hogging the right. I think they stay on SmackDown as champions. That's just me.
Possibly. We'll find out.
A main roster person goes to NXT.
A main roster person. Oh yeah,
that's been teased.
See, this is what I've been waiting for. I want to see what the shakeup when it gets down to NXT. I want to know what that's going to look like. I could see maybe someone like a Randy Orton, maybe going to NXT, a lighter schedule.
NXT was not mentioned as part of the shakeup.
That's right. But it was supposed to be when the McMahons all got together.
I think
for the shindig, right?
they originally, that was kind of the original
Or maybe
plan.
that
Or
was a
rumor,
dirt
at
sheet.
least.
Dirt
Yeah, it
sheet
was a
rumors,
rumor.
maybe, I think.
But NXT was not featured. It specifically said Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
Is when the shakeups were happening.
But then again, NXT's not really on TV. They're not going to advertise that and give. I mean, it would have been a great way to get more people to buy the network so they can, it gives them something to follow along with. But at the same time, you kind of almost want to leave NXT as it is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still the hottest brand when you look at it at the end of the day. The takeovers get better and better and better every time.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard to every one tops the next one,
Mm-hmm.
or the next one always tops the one before it. But then also it's the developmentals in a way. That's their developmental. Yeah. So you want to continue to wean some of those new guys if they're coming from the independent, kind of getting them into the swing of things with the way WWE does things. I think you got to leave it as is. Let it kind of still be that developmental process, I guess.
Absolutely, and I think we're out of time, correct?
Yeah.
So we've got to get off the air. This is kind of our Raw and WrestleMania talk.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see where it goes, but thank you for tuning in. Thanks, James, for joining us again, as always.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, this episode has been too sweet. See you later.